Hello there, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, doomers and boomers. It's Patrick here, Eggnoc Poker. So, new video today, carrying on straight away with our 2L to 200 series with some 500 at the end for fun. We are now up to 50L. So, let's get straight into the action. As always, guys, please like, please subscribe if you have not always, and please leave a comment as well. It'd be very much appreciated. Right, so NL50. I have not played NL50 on Stars for a little while, but do know how the majority of the pool plays. It's still extremely fucking tight. But we will start to encounter a few people who might be slightly more capable as we start to go up towards 500. So still mainly being on a fold Jack 5 suited opening, Queen 5 suited, and Jack 6 or Jack 7, so on. Yeah, people are going to be getting at least like slightly better now. People are going to be probably opening default ranges a lot. People are going to be starting to like sort of play better ranges and a bit more correct. So hopefully we can get some more bluffs and bluff catches, and we can play a bit more properly, which should in turn generate some action, which would be nice. So see how we go in sort of between sort of 25 minutes or so. As always, is the start is the what we're looking for in these video series. So see what we can do. I usually open up with the ace jack offsuit here. I'm going back to default GTO now with my sizings now. So hijack big blind, go from between small, medium, and check. Ace jack mainly want to be betting rolled medium, so start with small sizing. Defending deuces here, we'll not be three betting those blind on blinds. Good board. I mean, both positions are gonna hit all ends of this board, but the big in terms of a range versus range, the big blind's a little bit more favored on this one than small blind. Going to start with a check with my deuces because I know I'm going to turn a set, obviously, which in turn is going to give us a now delayed delayed raise. We'll be having some flush draws, having some traps, and then some delayed equity hands that can do this as well, like Queen 10 off with a Queen of diamonds or something like that, for example. Raising pretty big. You could go bigger than this technically as well, but it's fine. Trying to target flush draws, trying to target one pair combos, pair and draws, anything at all. Like loads and loads and loads and loads. I can continue. Cutoff button, I don't mind. I actually do have a flatting range on the button, which will contain 9-10 suited sometimes. I don't mind mixing in a little bit of 3-bet. I don't mind having some call. I will call this time on an 84. That'd be 3-bet's also completely fine. Kind of prefer calling with 10-9 suited, but 3-betting in these positions wouldn't be awful, but calling's also fine. Folding's like a bit tight. 3-betting ace king suited. When check to villain should be doing a lot of checking out position, but we're just going to be effectively range betting very small. With effectively our entire range when check 2 on these board textures. 853 rainbow is very good for a in position condensed calling range, so we'll definitely be calling. I feel like I was about to say I feel like villains don't find enough correct raises, but like maybe they do. I'm not sure. I don't have many hands on any of these players, but this guy looks like an absolute nit, so it makes it a little bit easier to bet fold. But will not be calling a check raise of that size with that candidate. You have some like ace jack of spades and stuff, things like that, one pairs and things. I'd be honest, I don't think that population are going to find a correct range, though. I think that's going to be very nutted. That's subjective, but I would think it's still mainly going to be like the stronger portions of range. Like they may find some checks, but then their check raises are mainly like, very strong pairs, for example, or sets or over pairs, rather than like backdoor equity type hands, like queen jack backdoor spades, for example. Backdoor spades is a good example or something. I don't think they find those as much. Maybe they do, but it's probably doubtful. I can open Jack 10 off here in the hijack, fold to 3-bet. Ace 4 off is a little bit too loose. I think memory serves, it's like Ace 5, Ace 7 off in the cutoff at low frequency, I think. Around that sort of area. We're folding Queen 4 suited versus the hijack in these break environments. I think it's especially in the pools as well. I still feel like they're not strong enough to with the super high rake and the general tight like sort of way the pool plays, I don't mind being a bit stronger with the defense. Queens and suit, I can go either way between. This is a decent hand to squeeze and call this time. We'll be doing a lot of checking. Queen Jack, no diamond. I mean, to be fair, I don't mind having this into a small betting range, as it is one of the weaker opens in our hijack opening range. We do have 2 overs to the board. If I had Queen 10 of clubs here, I might elect to continue as a call and raise, but I think we're folding Queen 10 of spades multi-way there. 2 small blind opening hands here. And we 3-betting the ace-9 suited. There is some calling in my overall strategy, but I will mainly be preferring to 3-bet. Aces is a good hand. Last time I checked, let's open that one. King Queen suited as well. And facing 3-bet in these positions, we're just going to be pure 4-betting. Roughly 3x out of position, 100 big blinds effective, and I'm going to be 3-betting the King Queen suited and defending against 4-bet. 10 deuce 3 is slightly better for me because I will have more. I will 4-bet 10s sometimes. Then I'll have 10s pure, I suppose, but like I will also 4-bet like 10x, for example. I will sometimes 4-bet pocket 10s, but he's got slightly more pocket 10s. So I've got more offsuit, like also more suited, like ace 10 suited, king 10 suited than him. But we're still doing pretty well on this board. I'm going to start off with a quarter pot here. And I will be probably barreling, depending on cards. Now, if we did want to have some, we'll have some hands here, like for example, King Queen of clubs, which we'll probably want to give up on this turn. Having like aces with a spade is not a terrible candidate to have as a protected sort of, excuse me, as like a protected check here to induce some bluffs from like, I mean, we block like ace x club floats, we block like ace x, we block like ace king off with a spade and stuff, I suppose, but we kind of want just to induce some bluffs here and have some protected cooldowns. I'm going to check my ace-3 on the turn, table 2. Now, table 1's interesting because our range looks a bit like aces, kings, queens with a spade, maybe without a spade sometimes. Sometimes we'll have some flushes, but mainly we're a little bit capped. If I had a flush draw, he'd probably keep going. I don't mind lead jamming here, and I don't mind checking, to be quite honest with you. I think it's played. I'm just going to lead jam. I don't... one thing I want to say about this is just because the 10 pairs, it makes it much less likely that he's got a full house. So his range is going to be very, like, it's going to be very flush heavy on the turn. It's a little, well, not likely all the time, but he's going to have bluffs, and then he's also going to have flushes. So when the 10 pairs the river, like limiting like full houses and quads and stuff, it's like his range is a little bit stronger towards bluffs and flushes on the turn, in my opinion. So that means, like, for example, King 10 of spades, King Jack of spades, King Queen of spades, like sometimes Jack 10 of spades, depending on the player pool. And I feel like they're going to snap check back when that river pair comes, just because they're going to be scared of like that fourth spade coming in and so on and so on. So basically, the way we'd be looking at it is a little bit exploitative, because if I had a hand like queens with a spade, for example, lead jamming doesn't really make too much sense in a way, because it's hard to get paid or like things like this. But it's going to look like I've got like ace king with a spade, or it's going to look like I've got that type of hand a lot. So I feel like in this pool specifically, I don't want to have any kind of like protected check there, because one, I don't think they're going to bluff enough, because they're going to put me on a spade often, even if they were bluffing. And two, if they had a flush, I think they then check back always. So I prefer lead shoving. I know it's a little bit exploitative. I know we kind of say, look, like we've got it a lot, but I kind of prefer that, honestly, as played. But then, of course, checking would still be fine. So we've got a few options here, table 2. So we've got ace king offsuit. We have rolled extremely high. There is nothing wrong with 4-betting this combo here. There's nothing wrong with calling. Jamming is also fine. It's just a little bit more sketchy, but we have rolled a jam. So good luck us. It is a bit scary in this pool. Maybe like if we were doing our NL 200 VODs and stuff, like we would have some shoves. Ace King suited doesn't like jamming there as such, I believe. Whereas like Ace King off doesn't mind it to some extent because it obviously makes some hands indifferent and it is not as valuable as Ace King suited to some extent. But it is still scary jamming in these pulls. A King Jack suited here. I'm not going to be 4-betting against the small blind. I only have 60 hands. This guy's a 16-12, but it's 60 hands, so it doesn't make too much difference. So calling, I think, is the only option with King Jack suited. But if I had more information, then to be honest, it might even be considered an overfold if the 16-12 with a 4% 3-bet started becoming more of a thing. We'll be peeling here with the King Jack with a small amount of raise on a 29. We'll be calling in position. And now we have an option between turning a hand into a bluff and folding, depending on how villain acts. Table 2, I'm going to elect to have diamonds, spades, and clubs primarily. So I'm going to check this. We would mainly... There is a mix here between doing some small betting and some very large betting. Without a backdoor flush draw, I'll just elect to kind of like give up. Multi-way though, because the big blind here is in the pot as well, I would prefer to bet small or check personally. But I've got no backdoor flush draw again, so just kind of elect to fold that combination. I'm going to elect to fold this time with the King Jack of clubs. We are almost always folding, but there is a small portion of raise. I would prefer to have... well, to be fair, I was going to say I prefer to have a slightly different combo, but our combo actually doesn't favour that bad. It's not actually that bad to have as a bluff, but the problem is because there's a flush on board, like pair and straight blocker isn't as attractive when villain still has like all the top sets and stuff. He's got all the flushes, and we don't have any of the sort of flush blockers and so on. So I think I'd just prefer a sort of generic give up on the turn. I think we just sort of fold. Again, like small bet and check are fine with Jack 6 of hearts. Always folding King Deuce off suit. This is an interesting spot. I mean, versus Donk, we're just gonna fold because we've got no equity or anything at all. But if villain had checked, this can go both ways between sort of giving up turn and then potentially going back and bluffing certain rivers, like potentially a diamond or a big card, or just kind of giving up because we haven't picked up any equity whatsoever. And there's not that many sort of turn folds, I would think, coming from villain on that one. So opening ace queen offsuit here, table 2, and ace queen suited will be a 3-bet. Versus bet call, we will be squeezing. In these positions, I believe we mix between 4-bet fold. I believe table 2. We have rolled 66, so we've rolled the 4-bet in position. I'm going to be going roughly sort of 3x. Sorry, 2.5x. Apologies. Get snap called. I don't really know much to tell in timing tells wise. The villain's gonna have 9s and jacks in range. I don't think he's got 6s a whole bunch in these pulls. We do block queens. We block ace jack. Facing him in 4-bet, our hand is call. It's nothing really else to say. Table 1. Continuing table 2. We like check from villain. I like turning my hand into bluff here. We block king queen. We block aces. We block queens. We block ace jack of clubs. We have all of these in range. So I like betting and jamming river. And then the times villain has 10s and jacks, but he doesn't 4-bet 10s in this pool. So he's either got quad jacks, aces, kings, or like ace king. And now we have a clear jam. We block ace jack suited. So we block aces, I think. But good luck us. On the turn, I did time out, but table 2 would have been fine to continue or to give up. Primarily giving up, to be honest, with this combo, I would believe. I mean, to be fair, actually, I mean, we do, saying that, actually, it would have been fine to have tripled, actually. Tripling would have been completely fine. We do, our combination here is with the jack of spades on the river is not a good combo to call, unfortunately. With the table 1, nothing else to say. We had a pretty standard bet jam on the river, and villain should always be calling with kings. It's kind of frustrating to get nit rolled though. It's a very easy river call. With his combination, he also blocks king jack suited. He's blocking king queen. blocking king 10 of diamonds, but that wouldn't have bet the turn. But yeah, it's just another nit doing nit things. 4-bet range. Oh, look, it's kings. Yeah. But there you go. Nothing else to say. Our hand on table 1 is pretty easy. Table 2, we did time out, but like while I was going through and explaining table 1, but talking through table 2, like having some, like we're basically saying, look, it depends on how strong our blocker scores are to like over pairs to sets and to top pair. So we did block ace jack suited with one combo. Blocking queen jack suited is irrelevant. So for example, our hand would have been fine to a bunch of the time bet the turn and then jam the river, and it's also completely fine to sometimes give up. And then the times if I had ace king, that would be pure tripling, especially if we were blocking like 2 combos of ace jack king jack, for example, with our suits. So it's both are fine in that line. It's really important not to like pure barrel 100% of the time. I think also one thing with ace queen though, which I did forget to mention, is we actually do block queens. So I do feel like there is quite a large amount of barreling with that one. Be interesting actually. I might sim that just to check the frequency on it. Donk overbetting 3x pot or check raising are both options on table 2. Both very good options. And our check raising range is going to be extremely large because we're basically representing king jack jack 7s for value. Facing 4-bet, there is some 5-bet shove, but this guy's size is outrageously bad. So when he goes like 35, it's kind of like it feels more committing than if he had gone like 25, 27 kind of sizing. Opening the ace-10 offsuit here and our 10-8 suited and hijack. Little loose, but I think we can get away with it in the pulls. As I say that, we get 3-bet, but we get 3-bet. This guy's clearly a recreational with the size and with his stats, but I'm not going to be defending 10-8 suited. 10-9 suited, 7-8 suited, fine. 10-8. And ace-9 off is a fold. Rolled 76, so we'll be opening queen jack. We open queen jack like 50-60% of the time, something like that, under the gun. Folding. And queen 10 will mix between call and 3-bet. We've rolled call. And folding with no club or queen 10 high. Slightly better queen high you can have as a call sometimes, but like you kind of want to have the backdoor flush cards with overs. You can still see it though. One thing that trends with these pauses as you go in, up into low stakes is the same thing though. Like people just seem to bet every single street without giving up, and their 4-bet ranges it's just all nut. It's all very strong. It's like value every single time. It's very rare to see people kind of like properly bluff or properly trap, for example, or balance any kind of range. Excuse me. I will open 8-6 if it folds around. We've got 2 fishies folding when it opens. Jack 10, I'm not going to open under the gun. I'm not going to be defending queen jack off here. This is the half stack fish. There's argument for some 3-betting and a small amount of calling based on the sizing of villain's opening range, but folding that. Table 1, we're mainly overbetting and checking as a large precedent. We kind of prefer combos with that the weakest parts of our ranges, or the combos that have like backdoor flush draws direct or 2 backdoor flush draws. I think ace 10 off here with 1 backdoor, well, 1 pretend backdoor flush draw. I'm going to check. Versus a strong condensed range that calls, they're going to be very pocket pair heavy. Going to have a lot of sort of marginal to decent ace highs, things like this. I like villains over bet there. I quite like this. And then we defend with some hand equivalents like ace 10 of hearts, for example. We've got loads of pocket pairs. We've got 9x. We've got traps. We've got four houses sometimes, but not as like super often. And then I'll fold just ace 10 off here. I'm going to go for an aggressive 3-bet on a high roll with queen 10 off. I think this is a good adjustment to the pool. I feel like they're going to be opening but overfolding to 3-bet versus the big blind, which they tend to do. So I don't mind having a slightly over-aggressive 3-betting range. What I'm going to do also, this is a nice candidate. This is not, so we're doing a lot of checking on this board with our range because we don't 3-bet 9-6s or 3s at any frequency. And then because I've got two overs backdoor flush draw, I've got 10s and queens, and I've got backdoor equity, check raising. This is quite a nice combo as well. Folding and calling with queen 10 suited are going to be fine. Fold this time. Mainly folding though. Doing a lot of folding actually. Checking, small bet, big bet, all kind of okay. I think I'm going to check. I've rolled 35 to be fair, so we'll have check here and protect the turn check. It'd be nice to see if someone bets they don't just have like ace queen for a fucking change. And now I've got very big bet check. I've actually rolled a 1, so I'm actually going to triple check, allow this guy to bet any pair under the queen, and then we will check raise. Also, he will still have some bluffs. There we go. Hand, he's also going to have some hands like ace highs and stuff that don't bet, but you know, it's what it is. So pocket fives, it's fine from villain, I think. Villain can kind of go both ways. We don't generate a lot of value from that hand, but there is some large betting, but we also have hands that will triple check that get protected by that one. But our hand can bet, it can check. Like it's 9-7-4. I'm doing slightly more bigger betting and checking. We've rolled an 11, so we'll be checking. This combo with a club can bet, it can check. Both are good. Ace is extremely good for us, a little bit more than him. Not so amazing. Villain shouldn't have any turn donks for any size on this turn, I don't believe, so this isn't really a thing. Not even a micro donk. Ace queen is absolutely raising for value. Yeah, it's not really a thing on an ace. There are a lot of micro donks on some textures, but an ace is not the one. The ace is going to be extremely good for in position. Just when he goes check. You just want to develop a check raising, check calling range, I would think. Calling and 3-betting are fine. We've rolled 22, so this would be a call. Be mainly playing overbet and check. There is an argument for splitting range between small and overbet. Just checking an 8 though. This is just not strong enough to bet. We will be calling at least one. There's nothing we can do here because it's still delayed bets. We don't beat any value, but like there's still plenty of combo draws that either pick up or develop, so they can't really do anything. We just get here with a lot of hands that can continue, and this is one of them. This is so embarrassing, this game. I just hate the level, like the level of weakness in this pool is just like disgusting. There's nothing wrong. Like this is the thing. I promise you. Like having ace jack as a check it is okay. Like there is checks, but like I guarantee you it's not for that reason. They're just doing it because they're just so scared of like but don't just have a naked jack eye board. Yeah. Always the same shit. Like it feels like if you call with anything under the fucking nuts, then you're losing to these type of people, and they wonder why they don't get out of the stake. This is a different scenario, UTG big blind, but like button big blind there, like you know, it's the same old shit over and over again. On a 31, I will be checking back. Block and check are both fine. I like large bet and check now. I'm going to check back on a 45, and then we'll have a nice large river bet. So we won't. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to find pure bluffs that check. It would have to be some kind of like candidates that don't really contain a lot of showdown or blocker score. Just gonna. I think pot's probably the best option here. We can split between our range can split between small, very large check. Queen 10 offsuit. I have actually rolled an 80 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block because I'm not going to use Queen 10 as an overbet. In the cutoff is more the button, but like in the cutoff I'm mainly going like pot and check, things like this. But like There is some split with small betting, and Queen 10 is probably better as a small bet rather than an overbet or pot, for example. 3-bet kings obviously face horrible ace high board. In the big blind, we don't have to just pure c-bet every single time, depending on the positions we're against. Kings can go both ways. 10%ing probably one of the best options here because you will get called by a lot of worse hands like pairs, pair draws, and generate EV. And then kings with no heart is literally just going to have to check fold because we just can't continue. We're hoping Devin just checks back like king jack of spades and stuff. We do beat hands, but yeah. We will be calling in position ace 8. Not thrilled with the large size, but like our hand is just too strong to fold. Not going for any kind of thin value with kings. We obviously get rivered by jack 10 offsuit, which is not even a defend. It's just a fold, but like whatever. I always run like shit on these videos. The only hand I feel like I wish I had not timed out of or had a bit more time to change is the ace queen, where we could have potentially triple barreled instead of timing out. But everything else has been pretty standard as played. It's not terrible to check anyway, but on the turn give up. But I would have just preferred aggression in these pools, like honestly, quite honest. This board table 2 is mainly going to be half pot to large and check. Queen jack can go both ways. I kind of prefer having a flush draw directly than not, but because we've got we're mainly checking this combo. I've rolled a 40. I need roughly 60 and above % a roll, I think, to use the non-direct suits. I believe I could be completely wrong if I'm allowed to use them, because this is one of the worst hands with 3-bet, for example. But it's blocking loads of faults, so it's not really that great. Now I'm going between overbet and check. Queen jack of clubs on a 32 I'm just going to use as a check, and this obviously will just be a fold. I will absolutely have spades, hearts, over pairs, boats. Like I have loads of hands that do this, so it's not like a case, it's not a case of saying, oh, I'm just checking all the time and allowing villains to bet. I'm printing versus people who are overstabbing, because my range is probably one of the only ranges in this pool that's actually protected. Is in if I'd rolled higher on the flop, then I would have all the turn I would have absolutely just still continued to have queen jack as an aggressive action sometimes. But with those suits, they play very badly because they block a lot of folds, like a lot of folds. So it's not super great. Definitely only going for very large and check. A very weak 7, I actually don't mind using sometimes. On a 13, I think it's just going to be a check, and then obviously check fold versus any action. Do we have showdown value here? It's very awkward. Excuse me. We do have some showdown value versus like ace jack, ace 10, no heart, but I don't know if villain would check that. This is obviously massive overbet and check. I'm going to check on this one. This one, I'd like to see this one. I might want to sim that actually. If I go like 200% there or something. But it's very easy for villain to have a heart. It's just I do wonder if they overfold a pair, like for example, like middle pair and so on. Probably do. I mean, it's an easy fold, but I just wonder how many of them they actually get there with. I actually think that was a mistake. I think we should have probably bluffed that on the river there. That actually might have been an error. 9-10 off is very close with the rake. It's kind of very, very close. I've rolled 92 with ace 10, so I'm going to be 4-betting this one. Folding. Yeah, 9-10 off is like kind of okay, but close. We'll play for about another 5 minutes. This has been quite a cool video. There's been a bit of action here. Some good explains, some good hands to talk through and break down. Jack 10 suit is not going to really be. This is like a very, very low frequency 3-bet versus UTG. On a 14, I'm going to fold. Because the thing with Jack 10 and Queen Jack and Queen 10 is they block hands that you want villain to have, as in you want villain to have ace Jack and fold. You want villain to have ace 10 and fold. Things like this, 9-10 suited and fold. You block like the hands that you want them to essentially like fold out in a way. And you don't block any of the best hands, and you kind of unblock their 4-bet bluffs essentially as well. Like ace queen off, ace 5 suited, ace 4 suited. things like that. I don't know if people are even doing that to be honest with you, but there has to be some kind of level where they do. On a 28, I don't like that. There is also in the cutoff. I do have a calling range. I'm 3-betting to 5-bet shove ace 4 suited here. By the way, that's the decision here. If I get 4-bet, I jam this. On 28, I'm going to fold sevens. I would be 3-betting there sometimes in some calling with my strategy. Ace 4 clubs, I absolutely want to be using most of the time as a bet here. I would say small size sounds good. I don't think I want to be going very big with any of my overpairs on this texture because I'm very scared of sets and 2 pairs and straights and whatnot. We can get value from worse flush draws. We also, by betting the turn, we also avoid villain from bluffing into us on the river with like worse hands, like worse bluffs. We're betting the turn, and we rolled 82 here as well. Villain has we also have 6x here. So for example, we 3-bet like Jack 6 off, Queen 6 off, Ace 6 suited, pocket sixes. Like we do not as much Ace 6 suited, but we do definitely like 5 6 suited, 6 7 suited. Like we do definitely have them. So it's not even like a brick to some extent. Mixing check raise, check call with top 2 here. On a 21, I've rolled a call. So as you can see, when I'm saying, "Oh, we do actually protect our ranges," I actually have protected my range here. So calling. So the 5's really good and really well. It's only really bad because his overpairs improve, but this is a card that's good for my range though. So for example, on a 94 here, I've actually rolled a lead. So anywhere from sort of 10 to 25% as a turn donk is completely fine if you want to. But again, it's a part of the game tree that makes the game very complicated to some extent. We can't fold Queen 10. But I guarantee you, I'll just say the way these fucking stains play this pool is with now it's gonna. I guarantee you, he's just got an overpair and it's just gonna go check. I guarantee that's what's gonna happen now because these people's turn raise is just not. It's just gonna be a fucking night. It's just so tilting. Although saying that, when he raises and then jams, now that kind of goes out the window to some extent. But obviously we can't call him. Just have a fold. Just continue with pocket 10s, pocket queens, pocket 5s. I think Queen 5 suited and then flushes. Very strange. I think villain maybe just had queens or 10s, or quad 5s. The only kind of hand that makes sense. Obviously there will be some flush as well. King Queen window heart will just fold versus the big blinds. 10 probe. Yeah, these runouts are very unfortunate to be honest, considering our hands. Jack 3 suited, I can get behind a call or a 3-bet. We've rolled 93, so I'm gonna 3-bet this one. Gonna sit out on the big blinds. I like the session. I don't think there was too much to change. 1 or 2 small spots maybe to just double check, but the ace queen, I was annoyed that I timed out because I would have liked to have continued as a triple off with that one. Blocking queens, blocking ace jack, I believe, because it was jack high board, wasn't it? But yeah, you know, unfortunately, that's something I need to be careful of. Maybe with the talking, is just remembering that their time bank's really short in this game. So unfortunately. Now we're just going broke, I guess, with ace king. Hopefully, he's just got some kind of weird hands. Yeah, we actually get some money back, which is quite nice. On a 37, I'm going to check back, but this candidate is fine to bet sometimes for a small size with the diamond. Villain should be leading quite often for a small size. There's still going to be checks, but this big size is not really a thing as much. There is some, don't get me wrong, there is some, but this is a texture where most of his range will want to get small. This is where it's a case of if you were against one of really, really studied opponent here and he's got top of range or some of 5x, 9x, 10x with straight blockers and stuff. 9x and 10x are probably better than a 5. We don't have as much of the 5x straights, but overbets a thing. And there is also some blocking. There's also some checking. It's kind of that kind of mix. You would go very big for value, very big with blockers, and then you'd have some checks, but you'd also have some small sizes as well. So you can get some, you can kind of split and get some value there too. So there's different things you can do. Anyway, so yeah. Again, guys, please, if you've liked the video, please leave a like, a comment, and please subscribe as always. And we will see you in the next one, which will be NL 100. So see you soon. Thanks.